Yeah, guys, I just spoke to Priya, so I think Priya is going to present first. Guys, I request you, I think the recording button is on now, so please do not switch off the recording button. Okay,
Uh, whose slide is this?
this is Priya.
Priya, I will share it from my side. Huh? Yeah,
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 Priya, we
Priya,
can hear
you
you.
can hear, no? Yeah. Sure, looks like she's not able to hear. Priya, കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ?
Okay, Satish, do you want to start? Hello, Satish.
Yeah, I told her to log up and log in again because she's not able to hear.
Oh,
Sure, just wait. She will log in and start the agenda. Then I will drive for 10 minutes and hand over to you. Yeah.
Can you see my slide?
Yeah, we can see your slide. Yeah.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. I'm Priya, and I drive marketing activities at Teksalah. So today I'll be a host along with Mr. Satish and Mr. Shoaib. Thank you all for taking out your time and joining with us for today's webinar. We are glad that you're here. We hope the session would give you a very good insight on Azure DR solutions and how it works. So this is the agenda for today's webinar. So for the first 10 to 15 minutes, Mr. Satish will be sharing with us Teksalah customer success. And Mr. Satish is our sales director at Teksalah and has been with us for more than 10 years now. And after that, we have Shoaib sharing with us business continuity challenges, Azure BCDR, and how to set up protection and recover to Microsoft Azure, Azure Backup, and Azure File Sync. And after that, we have a demo. So towards the end, we have Q&A. So you can note down all your questions and queries and ask your questions at the Q&A session. So now I'm handing it down to Mr. Satish to share with us Teksalah customer success.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Priya. I think my video also is on, right? Can see?
Yeah, your video is on.
Okay. Right. Okay. We welcome you all for the wonderful seminar. This is going to be Microsoft with Teksalah and the Microsoft Azure deep dive session we have. And we will be covering 3 topics, which I will share it with you a little later. And I would like to thank you all for taking time, from the busy schedule attending this session. It's practically, if you actually see, just to have 40 customers meeting face to face in this pandemic situation, it takes minimum 5 to 6 months, right? So I would like to thank Microsoft, Redington, and Priya from marketing our team to organize this wonderful webinar where 40 plus customers on this platform right now listening are ready to listen our wonderful session. And I would like to thank all of you who are attending this session. And this is this year is very interesting for us because we have extremely done our not only numbers, we have created many customer stories and lot of new customers are onboarded during this pandemic situation itself. And the journey that we have for the last 13 years, the customers that they are with us, they believe in our vision and mission, and they are with us for the last 13 plus years. And I would like to thank them, as well as I would like to thank the people, customers who are going to join us way forward as well. 3 things I wanted to talk to you today. The first one is the journey that we have for the last 13 plus years. The second one is how's our approach, how we do, in Teksalah. And the third one is what we actually do. So all 3 are very important for you as a customers. Let's get started. I would like to let me share my present. So is it, will it be, are you seeing my presentation or
Not yet.
now?
No.
You can see that? Okay, for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to drive I'm going to share what we are doing for the last 13 years and the way forward, how we are delivering our solutions to the customers, how we are maintaining the customers' success. Teksalah is a company. Many, I always ask customer, what is, do you know Teksalah? Everyone knows Teksalah, but then they ask us, what does Salah mean? Tech stands for technical. Salah is advisor for us. When you're talking about transformation experts, we are talking about business transformation through IT services. The first point that I wanted to share is our journey and experience with our customers. For the last 13 plus years, 1,600 projects we delivered successfully. When I say 1,600 projects, every project has a professional services. We don't count the transactional orders, but we are talking about 1,000 plus 1,600 plus projects successfully delivered, and 600 plus customers served in UAE region. So though we have offices in Cochin and Mangalore supporting UAE operation, and we also have a plan to expand in KSA and Africa upcoming year. But predominantly we focus only in UAE, and we delivered this many customers success. 98% customer success rate, and retention rate we are talking about, and 70 plus active managed services. When I say managed services, we have three components that I'll share it with you a little later. But then we believe in transforming the entire knowledge transfer to the customers. We don't want to hold the customer. That's more important. That's how we are, reducing our SLA. We are ensuring the customer takes care of their, own support services. Rapid adoption right from the beginning. I joined Teksalah in 2008. When 2007 we started the journey right from the beginning. My first customer was Drydock. Still today we are serving them. So you can see NAPCO, Alabar, Drydock. Still today, every industry we penetrated, and you will see this is just a snapshot of few customers we shared. But then you are happy to ask us any customer reference. We are happy to share with you. In every solution we have a customer references. So that translated as customer success stories. If you see the way that we have executed in Deva, there are multiple silos of platform we consolidated into single platform, and most critical infrastructure we actually compressed into just 2U format, where like I can say last 3 years, not even one single support incident they raised to us. Invest Bank, what takes a week, it takes only a minutes or hours to restore and backup and restore faster. That's the data management platform we created. Royal Group is Abu Dhabi Sheikh company, where they used to have pain every 3 years. They used to change the secondary storage, which is completely OPEX is completely flat right now. And specialist services is HSBC invested company. We made a complex architecture to simple architecture right now, and we created a zero trust architecture also. If you are looking for something like zero trust architecture, identity theft, which is very common right now. If you have anything on also data lifecycle management, we are very good in that areas. Please contact us. We are happy to assist you. Al Yusuf Group managed services, NAPCO 2,500 users. We've been managing their managed services also. Miras Holding data protection on AWS, Azure, and on-prem. We created a single platform to manage that. So Batco again, SAP migrated into Azure Cloud. We are doing BA also. Managed services itself, we have plenty of customers. Some of them we have shared here. Rack Bank we are managing. Because of Rack Bank, we have served like last few years, and then they started giving multiple other jobs. We are executing them, and public prosecution is very sensitive and complex infrastructure. We're managing more than 8 years. 18,000 plus support incidents we successfully closed. When you say we, not we, customer successfully closed, the support incidents. That's what we are proud of. Proud to say that. So how do we do? There are 4 ingredients in what we do. Every project we do risk analysis and gap analysis to uncover all the things for customers to see the de-risk in every project, and together that happens. So we have a team of expertise, in-house expertise we have. and focus on only you, not on our numbers. Though we have achieved our numbers for this year as well. So what we do, business transformation through IT services. 4 things, easy to remember. Consulting services is where risk and gap analysis that we uncover. And then we do a couple of things. One is system integration and cyber security services. You would have seen some people, they do only security. Some people, they do system integration only. But then combination as one-stop solution, you will get it from us, because that's when we will value add your entire integration of service, infrastructure. And then managed services. Managed services, we have 3 things. If customer want only incident, yes, incident and health checkup, remote, when we talk about reactive and proactive services, AMC is there. Staff augmentation, we have, we can provide you on-site our resources. And managed services plus, which is complete, we take care of the entire setup. So that we are working on few cases also. We'll share it with you. Based on the request, we are happy to share it with you, the references also. 2 areas. This we can share, we can discuss later. This is not a very important slide. This is our portfolio, all built. The entire portfolio is built based on the customer request. Because I can share with you one of the incident. Drydocs in 2008, they came back and they said they are doing some sort of WAN optimization. They want us to get in with Riverbed. Though the Riverbed was not in this region that time, for them, Riverbed came in after 3 years when we deployed in Riverbed. Imagine, in Drydocs, when we deployed a complete setup, after 3 years only Riverbed came into the region. So imagine that's how we got into every single portfolio, including Mimecast. Mimecast was told by Allabar, and then we got into Mimecast. Then later Mimecast came into the region, but then we were driving from the front in every solution that we have it in our portfolio. Security services, we have complete services. We have right from the infrastructure management till the threat hunting. If you are looking for some sort of assessment services also, we are happy to provide you. And that's Teksalah for you. The one last thing I wanted to share it with you. If you want to remember about Teksalah, what is that? We are here to serve you as one-stop solution for all your IT and OT requirements by transforming your organization, meeting your business goals through IT services. Thank you so much. And I would like to, share a few things about, what you are going to experience today from this webinar. Is things. One is, most of the customer, they ask when we approached some time back, they used to ask us, cloud we don't want. We want everything on-prem. But then today, if we go and approach, if I'm not doing cloud, we are out. So that's how we have to stay always on the change. We have to adopt the change. And today, what you are going to experience is BCDR, business continuity and disaster recovery, backups on the cloud, and then you also experience file sync. So if time permits, Shoaib is going to show you something very interesting for you. That now I will leave it with Shoaib to for you to experience the demo as well as the details about Microsoft deep dive. If you have any questions, please share it in the chat box, or if you keep it in the last towards the last end of the session, we are happy to answer all your queries. And if you have any requirements, please stay in touch with us. We are happy to serve you. Thank you.
Thanks, Satish. Junaid, can you please make me a presenter?
Shoaib, you are presenter, right? Already.
Yeah, sure. Yes, now I am. I'll share my screen. Guys, I hope
please,
you're able to see PPT. Perfect. So, team, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for taking out your time in a busy schedule. But it's been amazing the second time with Teksalah in terms of webinar. So now my name is Shoaib. I handle the Azure pre-sales and consulting for Redington for all of the regions. And now today's session, we have only mentioned business continuity and file sync. But yes, if time permits, of course, we will go through the slides of backup. And in terms of demo, we will also look into the SQL assessment and migration from on-premises to Azure. A team can other if you can please mute yourself, that would be great. There is a few background noise. Perfect, thanks. So, team, let's get started. We have less time and a lot to cover. Okay, so we have already given you overview. We'll give you the availability on high demands. We'll give you the requirement of business continuity. Of course, so demo, then backup, and then Azure File Sync we will take into consideration as well. So now, I mean, cloud is all about availability on demand. I mean, it's not new. Uh, One second, guys. So cloud is not new for any one of us now, and of course, cloud. The main focus of cloud is availability on demand. In terms of cloud bursting, in terms of analytics, in terms of processing your development and test environment, migrating to Azure, long-term retention in terms of backup, and then disaster recovery as well. But what are the challenges of business continuity that today's that the customers are facing in today's world? Uh, Protecting your data and application is absolutely complex. I mean, DR. See, a lot of people they feel backup is a DR, but of course, backup is not a DR. For DR, we need a solution which can get your environment automatically or within minutes to make sure that you face no or minimum downtime. So protecting the DR and having right type of application for this protection is very complex. There is a lot amount of data in your on-premises environment that becomes very difficult for you to protect. Long-term retentions is a problem. Time investment on media management, if you're taking a backup or using any type of media for DR, it's highly time consuming. Platforms are not trusted most of the time. Even though customer have full-fledged DR, most of the times the DR doesn't come up on time due to any reason. The replication is not happening on time, the sync is not correct, or something else. And one of the most important factor is cost. I mean, see, in today's world, if you don't have a DR, what do we lose? I mean, you might have read a lot of time that YouTube was down a couple of months back, Facebook was down, WhatsApp was down last year. Um, so if you don't have a DR, what do you lose? You of course lose revenue, but more of that, you also lose your customer relationship and you lose your entitlement in the market, your position in the market. So reputation is a very big concern in terms of making sure that you are a top quality service provider in the region, maybe in any area. But so every company needs a DR, maybe SMB, maybe an enterprise customer, a mid-sized customer. Everyone needs a DR. But if you talk about especially SMBs, more than 90% of the customers they don't have a proper DR. And the reason behind that is it is very expensive. Imagine I have a data center in Dubai, and if I want to, with maybe 10 servers, 10 rack, multiple applications, and if I want to do a DR, I need to take another location, maybe in Alan or Abu Dhabi. I need to set up the complete same infrastructure what I have on premises in Dubai. I need to invest in hardware, I need to invest in software, I need to invest in security, physical security, backups, the electricity, and a lot of the things. And I might experience a DR. Maybe my environment would be down maybe once in a month. Maybe because of planned or unplanned reason, my environment may be down once in a month, maybe 4 hours in a month. And for that 4 hour, the customer they prefer not to have a DR, have a downtime, rather investing a huge amount in the infrastructure. And that's the main problem that we see in today's world. And how Azure works. I mean, what is the requirement? We need an automation everywhere in terms of replication. We need an integration and we need a scale mechanism. We need increase in breadth and depth of protection. Of course, absolutely no media management. The solutions which you can test before you do a failover, because as I told you, DR most of the time it doesn't work, but we need to do the regular testing, and then of course achieve cost and operation stability, an affordable DR that you can need. And for us, so there are 7 tiers of DR, right from tier 0 to no DR, and to tier 7, which is highly automated business integration solution, and that's what Azure Site Recovery stands in. Now, the Azure Site Recovery is basically name of a DR service which is available in Azure. And of course, we will go through all the details. So that stands on the tier 7, which is highly automated and an integrated solution for your infrastructure. Backup point, the RPO and RTO is one of the major concerns in terms of having a DR, and Azure gives you a foolproof answer in terms of RPO and RTO. You can achieve an RPO and RTO with as less as 5 minutes, but it depends upon the replication time and the data that you want to save on Azure. So what you can do with DR, you can do a recovery from one location to another location. So imagine you have one site in Abu Dhabi and one site in Dubai, and you don't want to use Azure for infrastructure, but you need a recovery service. You want to do a DR, you need a recovery service. You can use Azure for that. If you want to do a recovery from on-premises to Azure, you can use Azure Site Recovery. Of course, disaster recovery as a solution is present, and of course, with Azure Site Recovery, you can do migrations as well. For migrations, so Azure Site Recovery, we used to do migrations maybe a year back, but Microsoft they launched a new solution called as Azure Migrate. And if we only need to do a migration, we use Azure Migrate. But remember, we can do a migration with Azure Site Recovery as well. Azure Migrate is an amazing topic which we might cover in the next session. So what we can use Azure Site Recovery, if you can replicate your Hyper-V to Hyper-V from one infrastructure on premises to another infrastructure in the location. We can replicate, from one SAN to another SAN. We can replicate from Hyper-V to Azure. We can replicate from physical or VMware environment to another VMware environment. Now, see, remember a point here. If you have a VMware environment or if you have a physical server, you can replicate to VMware environment, but you cannot fail back on physical. Why I'm emphasizing this? DR is not recommended for physical environment, because when you use a physical environment and if you're doing a DR on premises or on Azure, your virtual machines are already virtualized. Then when you fail back, when your on-premises environment is up and running, it will not fail back on same physical machine. In fact, it will not fail back on Hyper-V as well. You need a VMware host to fail back that machine. And then, of course, you can fail back from VMware or physical to Azure. So what are the types of scenario? First type of scenario is your physical servers to Azure, virtual servers to Azure, and Hyper-V or VMware environment to Azure. And yes, you can use Azure Site Recovery from replicating from one Azure region to another Azure region. I mean, we won't go in detail, but yes, if you have a virtual machine in one Azure region, Microsoft recommends you to have a DR to another location, and we can achieve this with Azure Site Recovery. And this is what we're going to do a practical a demo as well about. I have taken a snapshot of this tool, which is a snapshot of a tool called as Deployment Planner. Now, imagine you have 10, 20, 50, 100 machines on premises, maybe physical, maybe virtual, and you want to go on Azure. A lot of customers, they ask me a question that, how much bandwidth would I need? How much amount I going to spend? How much RTO, RPO I'm going to achieve? And it becomes very difficult because each customer environment is varies from something else. Everyone has their own sort of an environment, own sort of customization for the application. So there's an amazing tool called as Azure Deployment Planner, which we run before doing your DR setup. It is an assessment tool where, I'm not sure if you can see this, but I had to fit it in one screen. But with Deployment Planner, see, there is a sample deployment assessment that has been done where 110 virtual machine has been scanned. 107 is compatible, 3 are not compatible. Why it is not compatible? It's an Excel sheet, by the way, so you will get multiple tabs. Why it is not compatible? There will be a tab called as incompatible machine, and it will tell you why it is incompatible and what you need to do to fix it up. You have specified the desired RPO 15 minutes. It will tell you what bandwidth you need. It will tell you what you're going to save, spend in terms of costing. So, guys, I really appreciate if you all can mute because there's a lot of background noise. So, it will give you in terms of costing that, how much you're going to spend on compute, how much you're going to spend on storage, network, and ACR license as well. Let me tell you something which is very, very important for you to understand. Imagine you have 3 virtual machines on premises. one is your application, one is your database server, and one is your CRM. And you want to replicate on Azure. And imagine these machines are of 2 core 8 GB RAM each and 500 GB storage each. When you replicate to Azure in terms using ASR, only your storage will be replicated and you will only be charged for storage. Remember one thing, you will not be charged for any operating system license. You will not be charged for any compute. Your 1500 GB storage for the 3 machines will be replicated to Azure, and you will only be charged for the storage till the time you do an actual DR, actual failover. Once you do an actual failover, and imagine you used Azure for maybe 24 hours in a month, because your on-premises environment was down, or you were doing some patching or update or something else. When you do a failover, you will, at that time, you will be charged for Azure compute, the amount of compute that you need. And once your on-premises is up, you fail it back to on-premises. Again, there is no charge for compute. It's only the charge for your storage. That's why this becomes very, very cost effective. If you compare on-premises DR to Azure DR, Azure DR might come at a cost of 10% as compared to on-premises DR, because there is only charge for compute when you actually need it. So let's quickly go a demo. See, as there were a lot of demos, so one demo I have only taken a snapshot and I have saved just to tell you how to do it, and then other demos we will do a live demo itself. I will quickly switch back to check if there are any questions, and I'll come back in just 1 minute. Perfect. There are no questions, so we can continue. So in this environment, I was doing the DR. I've taken snapshots from online, by the way, and there was a DR from your on-premises Hyper-V machine to Azure. So this is an Azure portal, and in Azure portal, you will get a service called as Recovery Service Vault. Recovery Service Vault is basically a vault where you can take your backups and where you can take a DR as well, called as Site Recovery, and I will show you how exactly it looks and how to create one. So once you create a Recovery Service Vault, once you create a Site Recovery, it will ask you to prepare your infrastructure. Once you click on prepare an infrastructure, it will ask you where is your infrastructure. It will ask you that is it on premises and or is it from Azure to Azure. As I told you, we can do it from Azure to Azure. It says on premises. It will ask you where you want to replicate the machine. Do you want to replicate this on premises machine to Azure or from one on premises site to another on premises site? Then it will ask you which technology you're using. Is it virtualized? I said yes, we're using Hyper-V. It asked, do you using SCVMM, which is a management for Hyper-V? I said no. Source deployment on premises. Source is doublet. Then once this is done, a tool will be downloaded on premises, and that tool will you will install a virtual machine called as a configuration server on your Hyper-V host, and that configuration server will find out what all machines you have on premises. So this environment had more than 10 virtual machines, so it will give you the list what you have on premises, and then you need to select for which machines you want to do a DR. In this case, we selected one machine, and then once machine is selected, we will enable the replications for the machine. See, now the machine will be replicated and the machine will be taken on Azure, and then there is where your storage will be replicated, and your you will get the details of your virtual machine. And once the virtual machine is run, once your on premises is down, you will fail over the virtual machine, which I will show you in the demo. You will access the virtual machine, and if you want to fail it back, you will click on the virtual machine, you'll click on failover again, and then you will fail back. And this is what you will see in terms of Hyper-V console. And so this is a failover. Let me quickly go back to this demo, and then once this is done, I will come back to cover the backup and the other topics. So I'll stop sharing now, and I'll share my another screen. Okay, guys, I think you're able to see it now. So this is my Azure. So I will go to, so we spoke about site recovery. I'll click on site recovery. Yeah.
Shoaib, we can see your email inbox, not your slides. Are you showing the demo?
Yeah, I'm showing the demo. My bad. Let me stop this.
You can share your entire app.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing. Is it? Can you see my Azure now?
Um, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, team. So this is my Azure portal. I will go to Site Recovery. And this is where I'll create a recovery service vault. So for me, the recovery service vault has already been created. I created a demo recovery service vault, and I created in a resource group called as Teksalah demo. So I clicked on this recovery service vault, and then this is an option where you can do a backup and when you can do a site recovery. I clicked on site recovery. It will ask me protect your virtual machines, protect your VMware machines to Azure, and protect your Hyper-V machines to Azure. For now, I will say that I want to protect my virtual machine from one location to another location. I'll click enable. It will ask me what is your source location. I'll say my source location. I've created a virtual machine in UAE North and deployment model ARM. That's fine. Source subscription. I mean, you can have multiple subscription here. I have one subscription, which is Microsoft Azure sponsorship. Source resource group. Again, I have to, I'll fail back to resource group called as Teksalah demo. I clicked on next. Okay, I need to change because I cannot do a DR in the same location. So I'll do a DR maybe in West Europe, and now things will look good. Select the resource group. Okay, I clicked on next. It will ask me. I am not able to see my virtual machine. Hold on a second. Maybe I have to stop the virtual machine. So this
Shoaib,
is a yeah.
there is a comment and they're saying that if you can take it a little bit slowly.
Sure. Okay, Junaid. Okay, team. So again, I have created a recovery service vault on Azure. Recovery service vault is basically when you do a DR or when you do a backup on Azure. And now I created a virtual machine which is demo DR VM. Now I want to do a DR. So this virtual machine is in UAE North, and I want to do a DR for this virtual machine from UAE North to any other location, maybe West Europe. Now, I will create a new resource group for my demo, and I'll create a failover resource group, and I will do it in West Europe. Perfect. So I created a resource group. So the one who don't know what is a resource group is a logical entity where all your resources will be stored. Any service in Azure is called as resource, and resource group is a logical entity. Like on premises, we have organization unit where you store all the users and computers. This is where we have resource group in Azure. So now I will go to my site recovery, which is the recovery service vault that I created. And in this site recovery, I have already created a recovery service vault. I'll click site recovery. I want to enable replication on Azure. Now, source location is UAE North. And target location is Teksalah demo. No, sales resource group is Teksalah demo. I'll click on next. One second, guys. Let me choose West Europe here. And then I'll do failover RG. Which is fine. Let me make sure that I've created the virtual machine. Yeah.
Shoaib, one attendee has asked you to move your slides a bit slowly. No, he has told the slides are moving slowly and you are talking a bit faster.
Okay, so it's a lag there.
Yeah, there is a lag.
Okay. Okay, guys, I'll try to be slow because as we have to cover 3-4 demos. Okay. So now, team, I'll start from scratch. So for you to create it, I will create a new recovery service vault. If you can see here, just to make sure that we start from scratch. And I'll create a recovery service vault. Maybe Teksalah RG vault. Okay. And I create the vault in West Europe. So recovery service vault is basically you create when you want to do a DR or when you want to do a backup. The vault is basically an area when you will store all the informations of your backup and of your DR. So now my deployment is getting submitted and my recovery service vault is getting created. Okay, my vault is been created. I'll go to the vault and now I will click on replication, and now I want to protect my Azure virtual machine. I'll click on source location. Source location is UAE North, and source resource group is Teksalah demo. I'll click on next, and now see, it will say that you have one virtual machine in this resource group. Do you want to do a DR? If I had multiple virtual machine, it would have showed the option. I said yes, I want to replicate, and I'll click on next. As soon as I click on next, it will load all the information of this machine, and now it will say that your current location is UAE North, but now you want to do a target location. I'll say target location as West Europe. Now target subscription, that's fine. It will replication policy. This is important, it will ask that how much you want to replicate. If I create a new policy, it will ask me how much retention you want, how much recovery point retention you want, and what is an app consistency snapshot frequency you want. I can have as much as I want. And do you want to have a multiple VM consistency? I said no. I clicked on OK. And I enabled the replication. As soon as I enable a replication, my deployment is been submitted. What will happen? The virtual machine which I have chosen for this DR, that will be replicated. Only the storage will be replicated. Remember guys, as I told you, virtual machine will not be created unless and until I do a failover. So this will take a while. Till the time this is completing, we will jump up to the demo. We will jump up to our slides and we'll complete the slides, and then we will be back here to complete this demo and show some other demos that is available. So now let me, okay. So this is what we do. So what are the types of failover in DR? One is test failover. Why do we use test failover? Remember the point that, when we said that your failover, your DR will actually not work whenever required. That's why we do a testing. So test failover will only do a failover on Azure. A virtual machine will be created on Azure without impacting your on-premises. Your on-premises environment will be unimpacted. Your Azure virtual machines will be created just to make sure that you do a test failover. So it is recommended to do a test failover very frequently, at least once in a week, to make sure everything is fine. Then we have planned failover. Planned failover is something that you have planned. You want to update your on-premises, or there is some something going on in your on-premises which is planned. In that time, you do a planned failover, and there is one thing called as unplanned failover. Some natural disaster, some hardware failure. In that time, you do an unplanned failover. Point to remember: imagine, guys, if we set up the replication policy to 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, my data is replicating. Every 15 minutes, my data is replicating from one location to another location. Okay, so guys, remember, imagine I had a replication at 12 and my second replication is 12:15. Now, if I do a planned failover at 12:10, no problem, as my connectivity is still intact from my on-premises to Azure. At 12:10, a sync will happen, and whatever change happens on-premises will be synced and your data will be unimpacted. But imagine you do an unplanned failover where the connectivity of on-premises has been lost, and you do a failover at 12:10 where the last replication was 12. In that case, you will lose 10 minutes of data. I hope things are clear. And then you do a failback again. Now, Azure Site Recovery for your SQL application, and this is very important. That's why I mean, it is very simple. Imagine you have customers and you have a website running on premises with SQL. Okay, now you don't want any downtime for this website for your users. So what you do, you will spin up a traffic manager, and in traffic manager we will give priority 1 to on premises and priority 2 to Azure. So DNS will keep on continuous checking. The traffic manager will continuously check the on premises, which is priority 1, that it's up. And the time when it is down, it will do an automatic failover. It will turn up the virtual machine which is on Azure, because priority 1 machine is down. Customer will not experience any downtime unless and until they are existing. If they are already working on that machine, then they will the session will be logged out. But if it's a new customer, they will directly go to a priority 2 virtual machine which is on Azure, and then they start working it. As soon as the priority 1 is up, and as traffic manager has is set up in such a way that as soon as priority up is 1, it will route all the new traffic to the priority 1 virtual machine. And in this case, SQL you can keep always on, and you can keep in terms of failover as well. So that's it, guys, from Site Recovery, Azure DR, now, so this is the same way. So if you do with VMware, if you do with physical, if you do with Hyper-V, only few things will change in terms of setup, but the concepts and everything will remain the same. So now, do you have any questions? I'll stop sharing for a while. I'll see if you have any questions, and then I'll proceed. Team, my connection of Wi-Fi is fine. I'm not sure. Yes, the question is, can you do Nutanix? Yes, Nutanix has been recently started a support for replication from Nutanix to Azure as well, but the support has just been started. Yes, team. Any other questions? Any which is, if you don't have questions now, that's fine. We can jump in again at the end to view the question and answer box. I will quickly cover backup, and then we will go to the complete demo. I'll quickly cover. Thank you, guys. You please keep yourself muted to avoid any disruption. So, team, I'll complete backup and I'll complete file sync, and then we will go to the demo altogether. So, I have added backup in terms of DR because a lot of customers are also interested in taking backup on Azure. So, what are the current challenges of backup? Rapid data growth, because we know the data grows at least 40% per year. Operation, managing the data is very, very difficult, and of course it is important that the data may go without protection, and in some of in UAE especially, there is a compliance. Plus, if you lose any file, that might be a very, very big issue for you in terms of your business. But at the same time, backupping up and maintaining the data is very difficult. So we have Windows Azure Backup, which is very, very simple and cost effective to use. Now, when to choose Windows Backup? I mean, if you're already using System Center for protecting, you can use for small business or branch office, and it is suitable for most of the work for like Perl server, for SQL, for Exchange, for SharePoint, and for domain controller, bare metal, all those types of backup you can take, which we will show you in a demo. How Windows Backup works? Imagine you have a Windows 2012 server, and we have Microsoft Azure using your recovery service vault again. The user signs in. It installs the agent on the server, and the machine is registered against the Windows Azure, and the backup is gone to Azure with an encryption. And now, if you have any other server or the same server, you can recover it from Windows Azure, and the user can access it. And if you're using a DPM, it is going to be the same process. In terms of DPM, it will take a backup for all the virtual machines, and if one machine is failover or replaced, you can replace, or you can replicate, or you can bring back the same machine backup from the DPM as well. Why breadth and depth of the solutions are available. You can take your WBS, centralized backup mechanism. You can take your file folders level backup, and we also have Store Simple, which is an Azure storage solution which you can take backup on Azure. Team, we will do a demo on backup as well. I will quickly complete file sync, and then we will go to all 4 demos that are pending. Azure file sync is a topic. Basically, Azure file sync is a solution which every customer needs. All the customers, they will need Azure file sync as a solution for them to use. What is Azure file sync? It is a centralized file server mechanism which use Azure storage. So now, almost all customers, they have file server on premises, and all the customers have some or the other kind of issues. Permission is an issue. File server bloating is basically an issue, because you keep data in your on-premises file server for years for compliance, but the data, out of that data, not even 20% is hot data. Most of the data is cold data. Most of the users have already left the organization, but you still keep the data to make sure that if you need the data sometime in future, you can recover it. But because of that, your data keeps on increasing, and you keep on adding storage and adding storage. So for that, Azure File Server is a solution. It gives a centralized file server mechanism on Azure. Caches multiple location, another amazing solution. Imagine you have multiple solution. One is your HQ, one is your branch office, and we have another branch office, and you want a centralized file server mechanism for this. You can take Azure File Sync as a solution, and you can sync all the data from your different branches to Azure, and you can take a backup in one centralized location and the protection. So imagine if any of the servers goes down, you can replicate that, which I will show you in the next slide. You can utilize cloud backup based and a fast DR. You can use Azure File Sync for DR as well. How? I'll tell you in a while. Okay, so imagine you have a branch office in New York, and it has a set of servers, a set of applications or file folders that went down. Now you used Azure File Sync as a file share, which was available in East US as an Azure location. Now if you see, most of the folders are grayed, and few of them are in bright yellow color, because the folders which are in gray, it is only your Azure. It is not available on premises. So what do I mean? Imagine in this branch office you have 1 TB of data. Out of that 1 TB, only 200 GB is hot, and rest 800 GB is hot. Is cold data. So we can move complete data on Azure, and on premises will only be hot data. That's why you see most of the folders are gray. The file folder structure will remain unintact, will remain the same, but only the cold data goes on Azure. Now imagine this server goes down. You spin up a new machine on premises, you install this file server agent, and you can get all the data back. Now everything will be in gray. Whatever you access, that will come up, because imagine if there is none of the data is available on premises, you access the folder, that time it will talk to file sync and it will bring it back. What will happen? I will set up some policies. I will set up the policies that if my data is not been accessed by more than 30 days, put it on Azure. Don't keep it on premises. You can put any policy, 1 day, 2 days, 7 days, 30 days, as much as you want. So you will know that your cold data, the data which is accessed maybe once in a month or once in 6 months, you will not put it on premises. You will keep that on Azure, and you will only sync it whenever required. Whenever you, and there is no manual sync required. Whenever you click on that folder, it will say that it has been accessed. It will download all the data you will be able to access, and again it will be on the on-premises server till the time you want it, and then you can sync it back to Azure based upon your policy. And again, same goes with HQ, and same goes, you can do a DR. You can take another file share which is West Europe in Azure, and then you can take a branch office in Paris. So this, we have one branch office in New York, one branch office in Paris, one HQ in Seattle, and we have one file share in East US, one file share in Europe, and everyone is in sync. Any one of the server goes down, you need to spin up a new server, install the agent, and you can recover the data. You can take a backup as well on premises, and there is no permission intact altogether. And you can access it from any device, anywhere. You can access it from Android, from Windows, from Mac operating system as well. So this is whenever you want to do, which will do an automatic failover, and all the information is being kept in Azure Backup Vault. Rapid Server DR, as I told you, we have an HQ server in Seattle. We have a branch office in New York. Everything will be synced to Azure. And if branch office goes down, you create a replacement of the branch office server. You install the agent, and all the file folder level will be available there. What are the scenarios you can use file sync? For multi-site sync, if you have multiple sites, if you want to seal the data in one centralized location, you can. Cloud tiering for your lightweight, disposable, and performance cache, you can keep it on Azure. Direct cloud access, if you want to access the file directly on Azure, you can use it. Integrated cloud backup, if you are frustrated with your on-premises file folder level backup, you can take direct copy of backup on Azure. And if you want to use file server as a DR solution as well, you can use this solution. Now let's quickly jump into, I will first switch to the question answers. If nothing, then I will go to the session. Ransomware protection for file sync, not completely, but yes, there is all sort of protection will be taken. But a specific set of protection, you need to take it from your side, like in terms of giving the access to the customers, what all ports need to be open and block, all those things you need to take it from your side. So team, now I will quickly share my screen, and then we will go to the demo session. I hope you are able to see my Azure portal. This DR, the demo that we did, this is still running, so let him run. So Junaid, can you see my screen? And is it a lag again, or it's cool now? Is Junaid Priya? Guys, can you hear me? I just wanted to make sure that when we are doing a demo, you are able to follow up.
Shoaib, yeah, I can see your slide.
We actually, I think you're logged in from multiple, but you can see it. Yes, I mean, even if you comment, that's fine. Yes, perfect. Thanks, guys. Okay, so for file sync, what we will do is we will create a file sync service. So you will search on file sync on Azure. So I'll click on all service. I'll click on new resources. Okay, so I actually want to connect to it. I think it's in all service. So I'll click on Azure Storage Sync Service. And if you see, I have already created a storage sync services for Teksalah. But if you're not, you go ahead and create one. I have already created a storage sync services. I'll click on this demo storage sync services. And as soon as I clicked on this, it will ask me to create a sync group. You can create whatever sync group you want. You just need to enter the sync group name, cloud endpoint, your subscription, and you need to create a storage account. You need to create a file share on Azure and you need to enter that storage account. For me, I will not do all that. I have already created a sync group named Teksalah demo. Now, once a sync group has been created, it will ask me to add the endpoint. Endpoint means the number of servers where you want to replicate the data. For now, I have already added my endpoint, but if you're doing it for fresh, you'll click on add endpoint and you will give the server name. What if you have any servers registered, you need to download, there will be a download tool that you need to download and you need to create an endpoint. For me, I have already created an endpoint, so I have registered that server and I have given a path. For if you want me to show you the path, so this is a folder that I am doing for my file sync demo. The Teksalah demo file sync. I have entered the path. That path you need to enter it here in this location, and then after entering the path, you will select cloud tiering and other option, which I will show you here. Yet after how much time you want to do the cloud tiering, after how much time you want to replicate the data, and you can also say that if my on-premises file, disk is 50% or 80% full, go make the rest of the data to go on cloud. So I've already set up the policies here. Once this is set up, I have added a server endpoint, which is my local machine. So if I go here, you'll be able to see the policies. So see, I have registered this server. It will give me the last status. So the data was replicated on today at 11:46 p.m. The file location is D demo. My resource ID is D. Last upload, last download, file not syncing. If any file is not syncing, it will give me an error. And cloud tiering, as I told you, if I do cloud tiering enable, it will tell me that volume free of space. I tell that always preserve the specified range. I'll tell that in my D drive, which I'm replicating, always 20% and more should be available. So if my D drive is of 1 TB, so 20%, so more than 200 GB should be available always. I can put it 20 TB, 50 TB, whatever. If I do data policy enable, I can specify. So I should say that if my file is not accessed for more than 30 days, you replicate it on Azure. I will consider that as the cold file. And then offline, if you want to do any offline data, imagine I want to use a file share for 100 TB, and first time will be a complete sync from on-premises to Azure, and it might be time consuming, bandwidth and other issues. You can do offline data transfer as well. So for now, I will not do any of the changes. I'll click OK. So if you see here, I have 3 folders, test1, test2, test3 in this. And the same 3 folders, I will open this. I will open my Azure again. I will go to storage. I will go to Azure file share. I will go to file share. And if you see, you will see the sync and you will see the number of folders that I have. And inside the folders, you will also see the file. So imagine, let me go back here and let me add one more folder here, which is test4. And let me add one more file inside this, which is, I'll hide this and test4. If I go back here, I'll click here. See, the test4 is replicated right away. Within seconds, I got the data. And what I can do from here, the same location, so I'll go to the same location. So how to take a backup of this Azure file share? So what I can do, see, imagine if this server goes down, what I need to do, there is a tool. You can get the tool online called as Azure File Sync. If you go to Azure File Sync download, you need to download this agent, and once you download the agent, you'll get a registration key here, and you will install the registration key, and you can again restore all the data that you have. I have given 10 GB a quota for this file share. I can increase this or I can edit quota. I can, if you want, I can give you 100 GB, 200 GB, how much TB I want, I can do it. I can delete the file share. I can change the tier. You can look, currently I've put it as hot. You can, transaction optimized. You can take it hot. You can take it cool. What type of file share you want, you can do that. Okay, and if you want to take a backup, see, I'll click on backup. And once I click on backup, I'll say select existing. That's fine. What is a backup policy? I'll create a new policy that, for this file share, I'll say that, you take a backup every day, retention for 30 days. I can put weekly retention. I can put monthly retention. I can put yearly retention. I click off OK, and an automatic backup will be enabled for me. I'll not do it now, but yes, you can enable an automatic backup for this solution. So if you see, guys, centralized repository, imagine if I had multiple locations of a file server, I can get it in one centralized location. I can take a backup. I can take a snapshot of whatever time. I mean, already 2 snapshots has been taken. I can take a snapshot. I can put a test. I'll take a snapshot, and an existing snapshot will be taken. I can go back to that snapshot and I can recover the data, whatever is available in that snapshot. For now, let's click on staging, and nothing is available for me when I've created. And you can do a soft delete, even if you delete, you will not be, the data won't be deleted. And that's it, team. I mean, I think this is one of the most amazing solutions that you can explore. Let me, okay, so I will quickly jump to
Shoaib,
yeah, I think there's a lot of echo. I think we have from multiple devices. I'm not sure.
hello.
Okay, I think questions. I'll answer the questions. So Priya, you mute yourself. I'll answer the questions. Okay, on-premises sync, yes, of course, you can do an on-premises sync. It's the data that I'm doing is on-premises sync only. Is that agent-based or agentless? It will be agent-based. You will have an Azure file sync agent that you need to download, and then only you will be able, that server will be registered with Azure. If replicating from on-premises, yes, the data is replicating from on-premises. It can use DFS as well. As if you have heard about DFS, you can use the same DFS. In fact, you can replace your DFS with Azure File Sync. And the machine that I've taken Azure File Sync as a current demo, that machine is my on-premises server only. Guys, any other questions on Azure File Sync, or are we good to continue? Because we have shooted the time up and there are still 2 demos that I'll try to cover soon. Okay, I will go back to my Azure portal. I hope you're able to see it. I think no, because I have not shared it. I'll share it again. Team, can you see the demo screen again? Just comment yes if you can. Team, can you see the demo screen again?
No, Shoaib. Not able to see.
Okay. Let me share again.
Can see only my picture.
Yes, so
Yeah.
your picture is very cool.
It's freezed from the beginning, I think. So
No, we were able to see you. Can you see the demo screen now?
Yeah, now we can
Yes,
see.
yes. Perfect. Team, I would like to show you an amazing tool if you have not used this before, which is called as database migration assistant. A lot of customers, they're still on Windows SQL, SQL Server 2008 or 2012, and they want to migrate as 2008 RP is not supported on premises. As 2008 is not supported on premises, and customer, they don't want to move ahead. Azure gives an extended support of 3 years if you go to Azure for the same 2008 server. So what I've done, I have a SQL database. If you see my screen, I have a SQL database on premises, and this is my SQL. I have created few test database here, and now I want to move it to Azure, and I want to do an assessment before moving. So there is a tool called as Azure Database Assistant. What the Azure Data Migration Assistant. So you just need to install the tool on that server or any other server, and then click on Add. Once I click on Add, it will ask me that do you want to assess or do you want to migrate? I said I want to assess. Project name, SQL assessment. Assessment type, database engine. What is the source? Source is SQL because it can assess and migrate AWS RDS for SQL to Azure. And what is your target? Do you want to migrate to Azure SQL database? Do you want to migrate to a virtual machine which is on Azure? Because in Azure, you can have database on a virtual machine and you can have database as a managed instance. For now, I select Azure SQL database, I click create. As soon as I click on create, it will give me that what all it will check. I'll click on next. It will ask me for SQL authentication. I click on click. It will give me what all database I have. I selected all and I clicked on add. As soon as I clicked on add, it will tell me and I'll start the assessment. As my database is very smart, small, my assessment completed right away. It will tell me in my assessment what all is unsupported, details of the unsupported features, and what all is supported. And so for me, it's none of the impact, and I wanted to upload this thing on Azure. I'll click on upload. It will ask me to connect to Azure. It will ask me to enter my credentials. I entered my credentials and my Azure assessment, Azure Migrate will start uploading. My data, whatever I have selected, it will start uploading to Azure. I selected the subscription. I clicked upload on Azure Migrate project. Oh shit, I have not created the Azure Migrate project for this. So I think I am afraid I won't be able to do it. Anything available here? Anything available here? No, it is not. But you just need to create an Azure Migrate project. So I won't go in detail, but I'll just quickly show you how to do it. You will go to Azure again, and Azure Migrate is basically a service which I told you will use for migrations. And I clicked on Azure Migrate. It will ask me SQL database, assess and migrate. I'll click create project. I will choose demo, test project. And I cannot, it's the assessment, only project installation is not available in UAE. So I have to do it in any other region. And as soon as I create an Azure Migrate project, my assessment. So what I did, if I was very fast, I'll tell you what I did. I created an Azure Migrate project, which is here. And then I installed a tool called as Data Migration Assistant. Once I installed the tool, I clicked on assessment, and after I click on assessment, I clicked on upload the data, and I will again click on upload to Azure. Let's see if it's happy now to see the project that we created. I entered my credential. Again, subscription, I click sponsorship. Yes, see now the project is, because we have just created, and I uploaded, and it will start uploading my data on the project assessment that we created on Azure. The assessment has been uploaded successfully. I'll click here. I will do a refresh. It is still refreshing it. Okay. Click on database. See, the assessment is done. I have assessed one data. It will tell you which is the database. What is the database ready? Is the database ready for SQL? And once I click on any of that, it will tell me what all database you have and you have assessed, and what is the compatibility level, and is there any migration. So the first one report, there are 3 blockers, and the rest, which is my actual data, there is no blocker. I can also check in detail what are the blockers, but I don't want to check it now. And once that is done, I can go ahead and do the migration again. So I will go to the same SQL server. I will click plus. Here I will click on migration, project name, test migrate SQL server, create schema. Only one migration is allowed at a time. I'll click on yes. It will ask me server name. I said SQL, Windows authentication, connect. It gave me in detail what you want to migrate. I said one, server name, SQL, connect. That's fine. I won't go in detail here in troubleshooting. But this is how you will assess and you will migrate to Azure. Maybe SQL, you can migrate your servers, you can migrate your database, you can migrate your VDI, you can migrate your web application and data box. And team, I will quickly jump on to the last session, which is backup, and then I will give you the platform to answer. So we will go to the same site recovery. We will click on demo backup. We will click on backup. So as we have already done a DR, here you will see the DR. I'll click on backup now. Okay, but let me show you this. Let me quickly go back again. Okay, you remember we did a DR for one of the virtual machine? It says here, it will give me that you are doing a DR for one virtual machine. It is absolutely healthy. There are no recovery plans here because we have not suggested, but this is a one virtual machine, no cache, one cache storage, no storage account. I click on the virtual machine. It will tell me that it is healthy and it is synchronizing as well, and it will give me the complete details, and it will give me the disk. So here I can do, I told you, no, I can do a test failover, planned failover because it's still synchronizing. Once it's 100%, I can do a failover, test failover, commit, plan failover. I can do a resync, and I can do what I want. Okay, but this is done. So I'll go to the backup. I'll click on demo backup. I'll click on backup. No, I'll click on backup here. It will ask me, where are your workload? Are they running on Azure or on premises? I said on premises. What do you want to backup? Do you want to backup file folder? Do you want to backup Hyper-V, virtual machine, SQL, SharePoint? I said file and folder. I clicked on prepare infrastructure. As soon as this is done, you need to download an agent. And if you've already downloaded, you need to enter this credentials here. And once this is done, okay, I'll do an auto generate. I will browse. So this is an agent I have already downloaded, and I will register this server where the agent is being downloaded to Azure. Once I register the server, after the registration process will be completed, I will be able to see the machine that is being registered here, whatever backup is happening here, and I'll be able to back up the data to Azure. For now, it's 0, but once the server is registered, I'll be able to see one backup server as well. So team, as we have overshooted on time, I will not take much, but I think you got the overall concept because, see, every topic is an individual topic in itself. DR is a topic, backup is a topic, file sync is a topic, but we tried to cover as much as we can, and we gave you an initiative. But yes, as Satish said, if you have any specific requirement, feel free to see the registration has been done. Feel free to reach out to us, and we will be able to help you, assist you with this.
Excuse me, Shoaib.
Yeah, Priya.
Are you done with the demo?
Yes, Priya, we are done with the demo, and I'm waiting for
Okay, so before we get into the Q&A, we'll take a 5 minutes. Like we missed few slides in the beginning due to some technical issues. So Mr. Satish will be sharing the slides with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
they
guys.
can share the question answers during when I'm presenting. So let them take time to ask any questions also. Right after 5-10 minutes, we will start answer all the queries. Right. So it was actually freezed, and now let's see whether I'll be able to. Can you just see the screen now?
Not yet.
No.
Please, Satish.
Yes. No, but
yes.
One second. Because this is something, the Zoho is very interesting one. It freezed my picture right from the beginning as if I'm doing the demo. Okay. So now it's okay. Now you're able to see.
Yes, we are able to see.
Can you see its slides are moving?
Yes, it's moving.
Okay, great. So if something is not moving, please let me know. This is journey and experience with our customers is what the slide, right, Priya?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So I would like to thank all our customers. Patiently we are listening to our demo and other things. So I'm sure you enjoyed the whole session. As Shoaib said, definitely we would like to address all your queries, as well as we would like to do a specific demo for your environment, because every environment is unique. So we want to come to your environment and showcase your requirement to fulfill your goals. So I will quickly run through for the next 5 minutes the slides that we missed, it was actually freezed, and then I was not able to show the slides. Only my face is there for the whole session, I think. Sorry for that. And during this time, if you have any questions, please put it in a chat box, and we are happy to answer all the queries. Let's get started just for 5 minutes. Yeah. So 3 things I'm going to share. First is definitely journey, the experience that we have with our customers for the last 13 years. And the second one is definitely how we are approaching, how we are doing, and what we are doing. So in the last 13 plus years, we've been doing extremely well and rapid growth that we have seen. 1,600 plus projects successfully delivered. Every project is having a professional services attached. So 98% of customer retention rate. Till today, we go word of mouth. That is the biggest, and fastest way that we grow in the market. The reason is, one customer can refer, used to refer at least 2 or 3 other customers. That's how we grew up for the last 13 plus years. And you will see every single industry we penetrated right from the beginning. As I actually told, my first customer in 2008 was Redux. Till today, we are supporting them, we are managing them. So we are happy, we are serving them, and and I would like to thank all our customers who are extremely, during this pandemic situation, they really helped us. And we have not even showcased our numbers. We were able to create a lot of success stories during this pandemic situation. We have a lot of new customers onboarded, and we are moving forward, and that created as a customer success stories. We have plenty. We showed few, and we are happy to share. If you have a specific requirement, we can showcase, where all the references, and we are happy to connect to the customers for you to experience. So every single area that we penetrated, if you see, whether it is a data management or a data storage, secondary storage, enterprise architecture, every single customer is crucial. And today, I can proudly say, even at Deva that I showed you, last 3 years, not even one single support ticket case they raised. So that's how we are proactively managing them. Security services, managed security services from Azure, NAPCO 2020 users, Miraz Holding, hybrid cloud, AWS, Azure, and on-prem, everything, data protection we are doing. Batco Group, Azure migration for SAP to the cloud, we have done. And we are doing the business intelligence also for them. Managed services, we have plenty of customers, and we ensure that customer gets knowledge transfer, and we don't hold the contract. That's how our value add. But if customer says that we wanted you to manage support services, yes, we were able to close 18,000 plus support incidents. That was closed by customer, not by us. Successfully closed, and they were very happy. And we keep open the support tickets for a week's time, or till they are happy, and they used to close the support tickets. So how do we do? For very unique thing that we approach every project, we do risk and gap analysis. Most of the customers, they say you are de-risk for the customer. That's how they we are known in the market, and together we used to do it. It is not alone. We work closely with customers, and we deliver these things. And all our support are in-house. We don't outsource it. So focus on your value creation, your business outcome, not our sales numbers. Our sales numbers never definitely happen. So what do we do? Business transformation through IT services, anything faster, smarter, more innovative solutions, we are there. Easy to remember, consulting services that I told you, that risk and gap analysis that we do in the beginning, system integration services and cyber security services. Because most of the partners in the market, you can say that they are specialized in something like security or systems. But then if they don't understand the whole infrastructure, how can they achieve your business goals? Definitely not. They cannot be like a value add, right? So here we are able to cover end to end, and that's one-stop solution for all your IT and OT services. Managed services, 3 things. Some customers, they engage as AMC. Some of them are staff augmentation. Then managed services plus we have the entire thing. Snapshot of the portfolio. We can share it with you. You can walk through that. All the portfolio, that what you see here is something which we listened from the customer. We onboarded. Nothing is we created right from the beginning, I can tell you. And including Mimecast, before even the region, they came into the region, we used to do Mimecast. same riverbed was referred by riverbed, dried off. So this is how we used to grow up till today, and we're continuing. Services security portfolio, we have end-to-end, right from the infrastructure services, assessment, threat hunting. We can help you in every aspect. You please contact us if you have any queries, as today's marketplace is like, it's changing. When we go to customer, when we asked about cloud, they used to say no, but today customers are coming back and they wanted to have cloud adoption. So that's happening, and we are very good in Azure. If you have any queries, anything on the framework, security services and migration, and if you are looking for analytics, everything we can deliver on the cloud. Please do stay in touch with us. One last thing, for you to understand what exactly Teksalah is: one-stop solution for all your IT and OT requirements, bringing out your business transformation, business outcome through our IT services. Thank you so much for joining this session. And over to Priya, and you can we'll also look in your question answer right now. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. As said,
Yeah, I think you can conclude. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
Priya. Yes,
So
Priya.
thank you all. Yeah. So thank you all for joining with us today. Thank you, Shoaib, for such a wonderful session. Thank you, Satish. Thank you all. So we'll be sending out a feedback form. Kindly fill in that so that we can know how the session was it helpful for you or not. So thank you all. That's it. We are winding up the session now. Have a nice day.